Good evening, everybody. Tonight's open topic, anything goes night. The only difference is that, but wait, there's more. It's kind of expansion on the previous video. Let me just double check. 6, 7. All right. You know, I do enjoy when people try to keep things going publicly. You know, maybe I am off the deep end. Maybe I've got a screw loose. Maybe like Outer Light Ed would say, the tinfoil is real. But really, why would you want to keep egging me on privately? Doesn't make any sense. Of course, nothing these days makes sense. You think look, I don't operate on a basis of being scared or touting fear or maybe even hate. Yeah, I might get angry at sometimes. But you know what? Everything that these elitists do, the people who control the world, the people we know are corrupt, they operate on the basis of instilling fear to people, instilling hate, dividing, division, divide and conquer. That's how they operate. And of course, as we all know, they like to operate in the dark, in secrecy, behind closed doors. So what do? I do everything opposite. At least I try to. And it's hard. But that's the goal. I'm not scared. You'll see my face, hear my voice. You can dox me. I'll dox myself. If you want to find where I'm at and come for me, come for me. Show your face, but you probably won't. Let us hear your voice. Probably won't. And love and not hate. So one of the things I also try to do is not get you scared. There's nothing to be scared about. You're going to die one way or another. Same with me. Make it a good one. Live a good life without fear. Don't live your life full of hate. Have it filled with love. There's plenty of things to love in this world. If it's not people, it's not. It doesn't have to be things. There's really nothing to love with materials. Just appreciate what you've got. Just walking outside on a nice sunny day where the weather's clear and there's a slight breeze and you just get that nice fresh outdoor air. Just, you hear the birds chirping, you know, stuff like that. That stuff is just, that's life. That's the good stuff. That's the stuff you'll remember. And then there's the secrecy. I give out my phone number. Yeah, to strangers. How about that? Yeah, maybe I have a screw loose. Hey, anyone could come on publicly. Hell, even the people who don't like me, you guys can come on publicly. Anyways, I noticed that Kelly Lane is on the Jamar Show. So I want to go ahead and watch. But I also wanted people to come on. If you want to come on, talk about anything you want. If there's something important, that's also good. You see, look at all the recommended stuff. That's a lot of crazy stuff. Did the show end? Where's the show? Oh, it's over with. Damn it. Oh, I'm not even sharing the screen. Damn it.
While Nectar Mattress.
Hello, everyone. It's Jamal Thomas. Welcome. What is the thought?
Well, I did.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jamar Thomas, and welcome to. You know, maybe I need to do something like that. Hello, my name is Bon. I need to do something
to be a little bit bigger. I did, but mainly I think it's misinformation. You know, when I took a Lyft, like Uber, over to the British Embassy later.
I'll have to take a watch. I just kind of woke up from my nap maybe half an hour ago. Oh well, just me now. Looks like everyone's left the coop. It's like, hey, this guy, he's crazy. He's exposing people, things about people we like. Even if it wasn't his fault, or maybe it was my fault. Maybe I'm just too much of a powermonger. Powermonger. That's rich. Seriously. Powermonger, fighting for your rights to be free. That's me. Forcing you to stay in line. I've got Anna Kasparian's heels. And if you don't heal, I will make you heal with her heel. Eating ice cream. You see, look, that's good stuff. When I was a kid, actually not, yeah, when I was a kid, you know, I didn't get to eat a lot of good stuff. And then when I grew up, I mean, I think I started actually making money when I was around 30. So I grew up poor, lived with my brother a long time. I have to thank him for that. So he doesn't have to do anything for me. He already did stuff for me. I mean, things weren't always good, but he made up for it. And now he does stuff for my kids. He doesn't have to, and he does. So I thank him for that. I should thank him more. I mean, but who knows? Anyways, one of the things when I started making money is I ate. I ate good. I ate organic. I ate local. I ate fresh. I didn't eat. I pretty much started steering myself away from canned food. And there are days where I probably spent in a single day. I mean, my allotment is like maybe no more than $100 a day. Spending on eating good food. Nothing else. Nothing else. No computer equipment, no electronics, no clothes. As you can see, I wear musty old clothes, and you're gonna see me wear the same thing day in, day out. Save money on shaving equipment or hair equipment, not even getting haircuts and going to barbers. But man, I can't do that anymore. I don't do that anymore. I can't spend that much married with 2 kids, no job. But I'm telling you, when you're single, you're making money. Spending that money on good food, eating at restaurants, at like nice local, none of this chain stuff. Oh man, that was some good stuff. You know, one of these days you guys gotta, if you guys ever make it that way, do that, because it's enjoyable. And you know, cooking, buying your own stuff and cooking, just spending that time cooking. I mean, I'm telling you, food is good, especially if you can eat the good stuff. But when you're a kid and you're growing up poor, you got canned food, ramen, white processed bread, peanut butter, and jelly. You could survive off that. I survived off that for maybe 30 years. I mean, eggs these days are even really, really expensive. And if you want the good kind, you can get the cheap like dozen for like $1.29 or something like that. You know, they're the ones where they feed them corn. They feed them. They don't take them out probably, but you know what? Every carton now says they are open, free roaming, natural food, whatever, organic stuff. But that stuff, if you want the good stuff, local, organic, whatever, they're actually eating what they're supposed to eat, and not corn. It's like $4 or $5, $4 or $5 for a dozen eggs. Stuff gets expensive. That's the thing. Yeah, I don't really blame poor people. I've been poor. Heck, we'll get money. If there's an opportunity for money, you're gonna seriously think about it, and you're either gonna take it or you don't. But the behavior that we need to exhibit has to be better than taking advantage of people who are willing to give that money, even for free. At least show something for it.
What are you talking about?
I was talking about food and behavior.
About free food?
Oh, not just free food. I'm talking about... Gosh, were you just listening for the last 2 minutes?
Kinda, man. I was eating these damn bars. like, like, I've got a weakness, okay? Like, I shouldn't buy fucking ice cream bars.
They're good. Hey, if you're gonna splurge on anything, in my opinion, splurge on food. You know, just either healthy or not healthy, but spend that, because that's something your body can appreciate. Your memory, your...
I like food, man.
Yeah.
Like, I learned how to cook, like, pretty well only because I like to eat.
Yeah. And, so what I was talking about, when I was a kid, I used to eat a lot of pretty much nothing. Everything was canned. I mean, like, I didn't eat a real peach until maybe I was 30, 31, maybe.
God damn.
No, actually, I might have eaten real peaches maybe when I was 26, 28. But I used to eat just those canned peaches. And I used to love those canned peaches. And
they're good.
Those canned mandarin oranges, canned other stuff, pears, with that sweet syrup. That was me. Ramen. I lived off of ramen. And back then they didn't really specify the ingredients. They have beef or beef fat, lard, whatever, etc. But some of them,
beef.
Yeah. Even the original, or at least the other ones, but now they do. And I was like, oh man, they had all that. I guess I really wasn't a vegetarian. Peanut butter jelly sandwiches on like white enriched bread.
That ramen that we get at the store is fake ramen.
Oh yeah.
It's like it's not good for you. But I guess like real ramen, like I've only had real ramen once.
Oh. Yeah.
Like out of a restaurant, like the real deal.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean it's totally different.
Yeah, it is. And but man, it's so, I'm not sure if you ever watched Mr. Baseball way back with Tom Selleck. But it's good. It's a good movie if you've ever seen it. And he goes to Japan and play ball. And everyone in stadium, you know, rather than eating hot dogs and pizza and whatever, nachos and beer, they're all eating ramen out of a bowl. And they're making the slurping noises.
Fucking racist movie, dude.
Oh, yeah, I guess it is, but it's still funny.
I don't know. Maybe they do serve ramen at Japanese baseball stadiums. I have no idea.
But I remember when
I'd love to go to one of those games, though.
Yeah.
Like, the people are actually into it. Like, nowadays, you go to a baseball game, there's, like, hardly anyone there. Yeah. I mean, the people that are there are crowded, are the diehard fans, and they'll pay for the good seats.
Yeah.
So they're all in this one section.
Most of the time when I see is just most people get those season tickets, and then they're there. Yeah. And if they don't make it, they just sell it to someone. Or maybe they just buy extra season tickets and they just sell it off pretty much and make profit out of it. But yeah, and then just how pricey that food is these days, that stadium food.
It's gotten fucking ridiculous, like going to a game.
And that's one of the reasons I don't like going there. It's like, all right, I get to see a game, and then you got a beer that's like $8. You got, you know, and that's just for like a pint. And you've got like pizza that you want get, and it's like those little mini sizes. That's like $12. It's like, holy crap, $20. Just for beer and pizza? And you could have had like
ridiculous.
Huge, like super large, extra large cheese pizza or whatever, full of toppings and like a beer or 6-pack. I mean, you just
Back in the day, you could get high in the stands, but those days are over too. It's no fun going to these damn games.
Yeah.
Can't get away with anything. There's cameras everywhere.
You got those guards. You know, there's empty seats way over there in a nice area, and they haven't been. No one's been sitting in them for like 4 or 5 innings. Yet, if you try to go sit in them, they're like, "Can I see your ticket, please?" Nobody's sitting there. Just let us sit there, right?
Shut the fuck up. It's the same thing on airplanes, man. Like sometimes I can get away with like switching the seat to a window seat if you know, there aren't a lot of people on the flight. But then other times, even if the flight isn't like, if there's plenty of fucking seats, and I try to switch seats, like, sir, you have to return to your seat. It's like, what the fuck? Come on.
What I typically do is, if I ask, they're more apt to say yes. So what I typically do is, if I want to sit somewhere, whether it's in a stadium or in planes, is I go, excuse me, may I sit there? And usually it's usually it's because the seat that I'm in just has like someone that maybe is doing something I don't like, and they'll be like, yeah, sure, go ahead, and I go, thank you. And
I never ask, because the policy is that the passengers can't switch seats, and if they violate the policy, then they get in trouble. So therefore, they won't violate the policy. So I just do it.
Yeah, I just typically ask, because then they're like, okay, and plus they like that thank you. It's just being respectful, really, and nice, and I think they like that idea of someone asking them before just not asking them and sitting there. So when
I'm an asshole, but oh well. Yeah. I'm nice to them otherwise. Like if they bring me a drink, I'll tip them $1 or whatever.
Oh, I'm not talking about those guys. I'm talking about like the actual security guards or the stewards or whatever. Just the ones who will tell you that, hey, you're not supposed to sit there, stuff.
Fuck those people. I'll sit where I want. Fuck those people. I'll sit where I want.
Yeah, I just think it's crazy that, you know, there's just a whole swath of an area where no one's sitting in it, or because usually it's basically when it's a bad game. And that's when you usually go, because it's the tickets are cheap. And you're like, oh, team's gonna win anyway, or this game doesn't even matter to make the playoffs. So like season ticket holders, they won't even go to those games, right? But then
in Florida, you could go to the off-season games for like $20.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird.
It's a crazy world. People are greedy. They don't want to fucking give up anything. Let me sit in the Skybox. It's empty.
I feel like they could at least make some money. It's like no one's sitting there for half the game or season, maybe more than half the game. You know, you could get, it's just like at the airline. If you're on a plane, you can upgrade your seat for like $50 or whatever. And you know, the flight's an hour or 2 or 3 hours. You know, it's a lot for some people. I don't do it, but like people have that option. They're making extra money. They should do the same thing with the stadium games. They look at the seats and they realize people aren't there and go, hey, anybody want to upgrade their seat? And then you know, if someone does show up to take their seat, you know, that's their actual ticket, they can just move them.
Well, offer it to, like, because I understand they don't want someone trashing the Skybox, right? But so offer it to a season ticket holder. Like, those people probably aren't going to fucking trash the Skybox. They want to come back. And they've got wet bars in the Skybox, so they're making money.
Yep.
So, yeah, I mean, 4th inning, why not? Throw it out there to the season ticket holders.
Yeah. So look at that. We could always get more money off of than just saying, nope, you're not allowed. You're a 3rd-class citizen because you can't afford these type of seats. So
you have to keep it exclusive.
Yep, keep it exclusive.
Fuck that. Fuck that.
Yeah. And I think in Seattle, Washington, I'm not sure if many people live there. Not necessarily just Seattle. But not Redmond, Bellevue. Bellevue's like the expensive, rich place version of Seattle. Seattle's gotten really, really
expensive, yeah.
Expensive and just that high class thing. But yeah, what you'll see are pretty much poor and then rich. And I'm talking like wealthy rich. Like you pretty much live in like the cheapest condo is still going to cost like $500,000.
Yeah, you've got one in Hong Kong too.
Yeah, and
you've got one in Seattle because you take the fucking Trans-Pacific flight.
Yeah,
3 or 4 times a year.
And people will behave differently towards you based on your class. And I'm like, really, like I mean, it's different now because of the tech industry. So there's a lot of people kind of like me who are just techie and can get those like 6-figure jobs. But before that, or even with, they'll still kind of look at those people as just beneath them. Like when I had a car back then, it was like a Sega Saturn, maybe.
That's a video game system.
Sega Saturn's video. Yeah, sorry. I don't know why I was thinking Sega
some kind
Saturn.
of like an Ion or something.
No, it was a Saturn. Yeah. But I forget what model of Saturn. And it was cheap, dinky, and I was working as a security guard concierge for this big condominium in Bellevue Pacific Tower, I think it was called. But yeah, one of the ladies was just making fun of a guy's car, which is much nicer than mine, but it was like a Honda Civic or something like that. I was like, oh yeah, wait, you should see my car. But she was nice in a way that because I work for them, she doesn't want to appear that bad. So she's like, oh no, your car's all right. What? My car is probably worth like a fifth of this Honda Civic. And she was trashing how cheaply made that Honda Civic was. That's the wealthy, the rich.
Yeah, I was the assistant manager in a condo building that was a lot like that. And yeah, I mean, it's just you really get a feel of what it's like for people who live at like the pretty high ends of society. Not the highest ends, of course, but you know, I'd been around wealth before in my life, but not like that.
Yeah.
Not where like one dude, he bought a condo, like $1.3 million condo or something for his daughter, just so she could go to school like at ASU, like which was right across the street, basically.
Yep, I've heard that. I've seen that, and then their daughters have like really, really nice cars, and every time they come back, check in back into the condo, they got like bag full of these clothes from like really nice and retail stores. It's like probably every day you see them coming, like their daughters coming in with like thousands of dollars worth of clothes.
Have you ever heard of 7 Jeans?
No.
It's like one of these high-end like jean companies, right?
Okay.
And the dude who owns it, his kid lived there.
Mm-hmm.
And the girl whose dad was that contractor who bought that condo for her, they made some kind of a bet. I don't know what exactly it was, but he ended up buying her a $3,000 purse on the basis of this bet. And she was showing it off. She was all proud of it. That's how I knew about it. But yeah, it was like nothing. This kid grew up in West Hollywood. Like that one chick's dad, he was in the elite Ferrari owners club. Like there's certain levels of Ferrari that you can't buy unless you're in this club and you've bought X number of Ferraris and all this shit.
Yeah.
And like then they offer you like these custom ones that they only make 10 or 15 of them or however many of them. They're limited editions.
Yeah. And
you get a chance to buy them. So this guy would come with these crazy looking Ferraris. I mean, like it was a Ferrari, but it's, you know, I don't know. I'm sure there's pictures of them on the internet.
Yeah, let's look at them.
I couldn't identify the model number, but if I saw them, I could probably identify it.
Yeah, so one of the things I've talked about before is I had a friend who's like 92 years old. It was kind of cool looking at his stuff, but on his walls, or on one of his walls, there was like a little plaque or certificate from the city of, I think it was the city of Bellevue. It's like, congratulations on your first $1 million. Because he reached the status of having like a net worth or something as the like. How does a city know you're worth like $1 million to give you a plaque and a certificate?
Yeah. Well, you got to file taxes, but
yeah. But I mean, hell, I want one of those. But it's
just gross, dude. Like, I don't think I could spend that much money on myself without like on stupid shit. Yeah. Without being like, I need to start spending my money in a better way. Because this is fucking ridiculous. Like, I'm blowing, $3 million every couple of years on Ferraris.
Yeah, it's just a lot of waste.
I mean, think about like what you could do with that amount of money.
Do you think like there's this belief, maybe it's not just a belief, maybe it is real, but the thought that behind every wealthy person is just shady past. It's like no one makes it that wealthy without breaking laws or doing some shady shit.
I'd say there's a high degree of truth to that.
Yeah.
Some people are able to make it through without doing some shady shit, but yeah, a lot of those people have inherited their money.
Gives you a, it gets you a little bit depressed in some ways. Like, to get up there, you really have to bring others down or stuff like that.
Yep, you have to eat other people. That's what it amounts to.
Yeah.
You have to eat up other people's lives.
Yeah.
I mean, that money for like all those Ferraris didn't come from fucking nowhere.
Yeah.
That guy was a contractor, all right, and he built what the fuck? God damn it, what was it? They've changed the name a couple of times, but it's a big stadium out in Glendale. And he had built out a couple of other stadiums and hospitals and shit. And, being in Arizona, I mean, you subcontract and subcontract out. Like, you got 3 levels of subcontractors there underneath you. How many of those people were, like, getting paid fucking $6 an hour and sleeping under a bridge at night?
Yeah. And that's what it is. I know someone who works from a game. He talks about working in these rich people's like wealthy houses or homes or mansions, whatever it is, and just talks about just the crazy amount of stuff that they'll spend on stuff for their house. And we could probably even look at it. I think there's even shows where they show like these really wealthy homes, and they don't get a lot of money. I mean, most of the stuff that he spends on building these homes is just subcontracting. And those guys probably don't get that much either, after the materials, hours worked. But then again, there's a lot of reasons why they probably keep rehiring these people to build their homes, because you also have to be in the mindset being professional. Like, even if you're not going to be wealthy, you're working for these wealthy people, you need to have that, demonstrate that you're not going to take it, not say take advantage, but like steal stuff, I guess, or when they buy stuff for these areas.
Shave money off the top, embezzle.
Yeah, stuff like that. But yeah, it's crazy. And like, I have a wealthy cousin who's a music director. He spends, like, I'd hear him. He's the one that like friended me on Facebook, and then I started posting stuff on Pizzagate, and then he unfriended me.
See you later, psycho.
Yeah. Because I think he's in the lead. Maybe there's some merit to it. Like everybody seems to have to be a part of the some cult or controlled by some cult and do as they say. Because he used to tell me that he'd spend like $40,000 pretty much a week in gifts to people in order to get access. It's like,
Yeah.
what? It's like $40,000. I didn't make that. You know, give that to me. You know, we're cousins. I ain't got a dime.
I'll use it to spread my Pizzagate conspiracies, bro. Say that to
hell,
him.
I'll show up in one of your music videos. I'll be one of those guys dancing, you know, get hit in like a movie where, you know, you got the typical Asian guy dressed in like a suit.
Did you ever I mean, were you guys friends growing up or what?
Not really. Like we would go fishing with like his dad. You know, we'd visit every once in a while, play games, board games, Monopoly. This is always funny because there was a contest between my brother and my two cousins and me, and they'd always cheat. They'd find some way to cheat and get away with it.
You see? There you go.
Yeah.
That proves the point.
And they'd always laugh. And like this is when I'm a lot younger than them. You know, I think my brother and the youngest cousin is like the same age, but they're at least 4.5 years older than me. So when I'm young, I'm like going, how do you guys keep winning? And then, you know, they would just have these 500s just kind of stacked under hidden away. It's like, how'd you get that money? But yeah. But yeah, they would just try to find ways to cheat all the time. I don't know. Maybe that's just the culture, the system that we're in, where you pretty much have to cheat your way to the top.
That's what it rewards you for.
Mm-hmm.
That's where the incentive lies, is to cheat.
Yeah. And yeah, that's right. It's an incentive, and they're like, and you're pretty much like, if you cheat and you get away with it, people are like, hey, good job, that's awesome, how'd you do it?
Yep, they want to know, man.
Yeah, they want to know. And they don't like, dude, you cheater. It's like,
and then you know what you do? You cheat them.
Oh yeah.
The people who come and ask you how you cheated the other people, right?
Yeah, and it's a reward.
That's kind of how the last housing bubble market busted, was because they kept rating all these properties AAA. It's AAA, dude. It's got a AAA rating, and then like when you got it, like it was shit.
Yeah,
like you found out quickly that this is a shit loan, and then you just sold it to someone else.
Yep. You have to do the same thing. Look, this is awesome.
It's AAA, dude.
Yeah, AAA. I you know.
This dude makes almost $12,000 a year. It's AAA.
And one of the things that I easily saw through were like the guys who would say, buy these stocks now because they're hot, you know? And it's like, dude, if you're that good, you'd be like a billionaire, and well, you wouldn't even need to do the show. And then all of a sudden you would see like it go up, and then all of a sudden it tanks.
Yeah.
And these guys still have a show. It's like people,
buy and sell. Buy.
Yeah. It's like that's the biggest gimmick in the world. And typically what I usually do is if they say sell, you know, I see them sell, and you know, price goes high, and all of a sudden it tanks, then I might actually buy. Because
and then they play these shell games with you too, like they try to reverse psychology you and all this other shit, like oh, you shouldn't buy, like but you really shouldn't buy. But they try to twist the argument like, you shouldn't buy, but I'm not sure, man. Maybe you should. Maybe you should buy.
And they're very charismatic. You know, maybe not charismatic, but like you can keep watching them. Like, let me do. There's one guy in particular that. Let me see if I could find those videos. He's on cable or network television. He's kind of got bald head, maybe, or fuzzy head. I don't know. I just want to look. I can't find him.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
If you guys know who I'm talking about, let me know.
If you're investing under $20,000, like widow and orphan stocks, just stick with those, and just like hold on to them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't play these games.
Yeah.
Just hold on to them.
Don't buy stuff that's like pennies. But here's the thing with stock, and a lot of people, I'm not sure, are familiar with like stock, is not just manipulation on the like the media side, but there's manipulation on the corporate side. For example, in order to make a company's position look strong and their stock starts plummeting from like $2 to $1 to like 50 cents, like 20 cents. Say you bought like 100 worth of stock for $1 and they keep tanking. What they'll do is they'll do something where they consolidate. I don't know what it's called, but basically that 100 ends up being like 10 shares of stock, but the stock will now be worth like 100,
like $1.10 a share. Or
yeah,
something.
Or maybe it goes 100 goes to like one share. That one share
or it'll go to like 80.
Goes to
but 80's better than like 10.
Exactly. and so the stock's been tanking, but it looks like it's doing good all of a sudden because you see that that if you don't look at the chart, you'll see that stock being worth like instead of $1 like or like 10 cents to like $10. It's like, holy crap, it jumped from like 10 cents to $10. And it keeps climbing.
Well, they try to do like China does something similar with its currency. It artificially inflates and deflates it like that so they can get a better rate of exchange.
That's the thing is once you've gotten to the point, and everyone who's poor that gets in some money eventually in their life goes through it, is you're going to splurge a little bit. And then once you're kind of done splurging, there's only one other thing to do, which is just reinvest that money. And, you know, almost everyone does it. You don't just get like the extra money in cash and put it underneath their mattress. That's just dumb, because you know you're not gaining anything. But the thing is, you could gain really, really slowly. Like, I remember the interest rates used to be nice, you know, just for like savings and stuff like that. But now it's like not even 1%, maybe it's 1.2% these days. It's really low. But then, you know, you could buy a lot of other things and, you know, get your basically some interest of the money, like up to 5 to 10%, which isn't that bad, right? And that's what people need to do. If you don't want to, you don't have anything to spend, you don't need anything to spend with, just start investing in some savings. And it doesn't have to be much. You don't have to gain a lot. Like, imagine you have, for me, I think it was like $2 million. If I had $2 million, I wouldn't work again. I would just live off the interest. Because
you could suck like $50,000 a year off of that.
Exactly.
So without too much effort.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't, especially if it's a place that you live that's cheap. You don't need to save a lot of money to retire. You just save on spending. Don't spend stuff. Live off the interest, and you're pretty much set. The only problem is things will start getting expensive once things start inflating and cost of living keeps going up and all this other stuff. How are you doing, Ryan? Listen to music? You're muted.
They don't have money in Australia, dude. They're still on the barter system. They barter their kids and shit. It's disgusting.
Everything's based off of crocodile scales.
Yep. Crocodile tails and lies. That's like the national motto of Australia.
We still can't hear you. You're not muted.
Nope. I think he's fucking with us. There we go.
How's that?
Yep, good.
Here we go.
So, How much do you think you could go if you saved up? How much do you think you could retire off of?
Personally,
Like the lowest amount, based off of like
lowest
say
amount.
living off of interest and stuff like that.
Living in Australia, probably 5 mil.
5 million?
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it's expensive in Australia, dude.
Yeah.
It's really expensive to live in Australia. It really is.
So you've got 3 goats and like a shack. You're a rich man in Australia.
And then it gets less. Like, would you ever live somewhere else? Like, I figure if I had maybe like 600 grand, I could probably, if my wife wanted to, we leave the U.S. and live off, like, say, somewhere in Mexico or one of the South American countries. Have you ever thought about that?
Oh,
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
absolutely.
Because I mean, you have like $500,000 U.S. dollars, man. You're pretty much wealthy in any of those South American countries.
Dude, you go get away from the tourist areas in Mexico, and like you go into a restaurant, and I could get 2 steak dinners, like a couple of mixed drinks, a couple of beers for me, and like I would spend like $15.
Yeah.
Like I'd get a bunch of stuff, like few beers, few drinks, steak dinner with sides.
Yeah. When I was in the Navy and we were landed on Thailand for I think a week, I had like a huge full meal, and I think the total in U.S. dollars was like $2.10, or maybe it was even cheaper. But the beer, if you bought beer, it'd be like three U.S. dollars. I mean, they upped that beer, but yeah, I mean, when you could live in a place where you could have full meals every day, and it probably would be like no more than like $6 in US. That's just, and like here, even in Columbus, if you eat something like at Burger King here, it's like $7-8 for just one meal.
Yeah, it's really expensive. I mean, to buy a meal deal at McDonald's, it costs like $15.
$15?
Yeah, it's fucking crazy. Fucking ridiculous, man.
Do a, I bet you could do a Marlon Brando, dude. You could do a Marlon Brando, I'm sure of it.
I'm using a voice altering.
No, I thought that was your normal voice.
He's using a vocal.
With you.
Give me a second. It's getting really humid. I gotta replace the dehumidifier. I'll be right back.
Is that a program, or do you have a vocal?
Yeah. Fucking I.
It's fucking wicked, man.
That one's crazy. Shut up, dude. Shut up. I'm logging off the stream. Gotta go change my pants. Pissed myself.
There we go. How's that? That's better.
Ah, it's worse.
Oh, my ears, they burn. I'm bleeding from the ears.
Yeah, man. Like, Canada is actually fairly cheap to live in, too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, not as cheap as it used to be, but I could go up there and get, like, a nice trout dinner, hotel room, and all this other shit, and I would spend under $50.
Jeez, that's pretty good.
Yeah, it is. It's, like, way up, like, outside of the city. But
You can't get anything like that cheap here in Australia. There's no such thing.
What's the cheapest thing in Australia? Like
Masturbating to porn.
women.
Dude, women are not cheap in Australia.
I bet they are.
They are not cheap at all. What's the cheapest thing in
yeah.
Australia? I mean, even cars are expensive. Everything's expensive, man.
Yeah, I think in the U.S. it's gotten to that point. Women are expensive too.
I got to
It's
check
always
my
been
life
that
thing.
way.
Really? Well, I guess so,
Yeah.
because you do, they are. I mean, it's different though. Back then it's like maybe in the early mid 19th century. It was you just have to provide for yourself, and that was good enough because that's all that that was. You need to be able to provide for family. They're not looking at like, they won't even give you a second glance these days, or maybe back in the 90s, 2000s, if you didn't have a nice car, or like depending on the brand of shoes that you were wearing or something like that. It's like, yeah, I'm not getting any dates, that's for sure.
I've spent a stupid amount of money on women in my life. That's probably part of why I'm broke now. Stupid amounts of money.
Like,
Let's go on a vacation. Let's go to Vegas.
yeah, but that's at least better than giving them material things, because that's one of the things that I learned throughout my life is if I'm dating a girl, there's after a certain point, if I'm dating a girl, it's anniversary, birthday, whatever, Christmas, I'm giving them something that we share, like an experience, like a vacation, or restaurant trip to the restaurant where I get some of the proceeds, right? So no longer am I giving them jewelry, which I have absolutely no benefit out of it. Which when we break up, and most likely if they're the woman that just wants that stuff, they're gonna break up because they got tons of free jewelry from their exes. So yeah, don't give them jewelry. Don't buy them jewelry.
I agree.
Don't buy them stuff. Like, you can't enjoy that experience too. Because
If you're married to a woman for a few years, go ahead and buy her some jewelry.
yeah.
If she likes it. That's one thing. But like, don't I'll just from my own experience, for God's sake, don't fucking buy jewelry for someone you're not at least married to.
Or maybe even engaged to, or have been seeing each other for like 5-6 years or something like that.
Yeah, like an inexpensive, like a decent piece of jewelry is easy to find, but there's no need to go overboard with it. That's for sure.
Yeah.
At least make it when you're married, so then when you get divorced, you can fight for it in a divorce settlement.
I guess that makes sense.
Better yet, just have a prenup where you get the jewelry back.
But did your fathers ever tell you this? Maybe it's just because I lack of like father telling me things like this.
Well, times have changed a lot, even since our parents' days, dude.
I guess that's true.
So,
do you think it just ends up being that way, or is it just societal based? Like.
It's just the way our society's progressing, Some of it's intentional, some of it is just happening.
Mm-hmm. Like the behavior is what kills me. Look, fine, if you're poor or whatever, you get some excuse. But if you're actually making decent money now, but you just want to maintain your kind of rich lifestyle, so you'll lie. Or things like that. For example, like the Me Too movement, or like accusations of rape or something like that, just because other people are coming out. And then you see on Twitter, they'll have like a past tweet is like, hey, if I can make money out of saying someone raped me, I would do it. I mean, come on, that's just despicable. And then it downplays like the real people who get raped, right?
It's terrible that false accusing someone, you could ruin someone's lives. You're, like you said, you're destroying the credibility of real rape victims.
Yeah.
It's just what people do, man. People do these shitty things to get ahead. Like, and there are real rape victims out there, and there are innocent people that have been accused of rape out there, and all kinds of shit.
Yeah.
some of these cases, I mean, people politicize this rape issue. Like, people like to politicize everything nowadays.
Mhm.
But to me, rape isn't a political issue. It's a
Yeah.
criminal issue.
Yeah.
And it should be handled by, like, our legal system.
What legal system? we got Samuel Ronan on a felony charge. What kind of legal system do we have in the States? We got cops who kill people blatantly on camera or beat them up. They get off scot-free.
Yeah, I mean, the problems with our legal system are a separate issue, but it's not. My point is, it's not a fucking political issue.
Yeah.
Did you see the video where the cop shot a little girl in the face?
What?
Yeah, they were doing a raid. Oh no, sorry, they were doing a welfare check on someone who suicidal, and they just walked in and this dog came out of nowhere. So the cop pulled a gun and tried to shoot the dog, but shot the girl in the face.
Is she dead? Is she alive?
Jesus Christ.
She's alive.
Is this in Australia?
No, America.
America?
Yeah, man.
Any repercussions to the
Shot her
police
in
officer?
He lost his job.
Okay, that's it. Forced pension.
Yeah. Be right back.
These
Checking.
fucking cowards.
That's it. You just lose your
goddamn
job.
dog.
That's it. You just lose your job. That's it.
I heard a dog bark. I'm drawing. I'm gonna shoot. I don't know what's behind the house, but I'm gonna shoot. I don't know exactly how it played out, but you know, unless the dog's just fucking on top of you, I mean, for God's sake, how much does the dog weigh? What kind of dog are we talking about here?
It says Belgian authorities. I think it's in Belgium. That might be something else. Like let me see. I'm trying to find it.
Our police force is an odd mix of fucking roided out crazies and like trembling cowards.
Yeah.
And there's don't get me wrong, there's a lot of good cops out there too, but there's way too many of the two groups that I mentioned. You know, people who are either too fucking trigger happy and scared to be a fucking cop. They jump at the slightest goddamn thing and they're shooting. Or people who are just looking for a reason to shoot. Looking for a reason to slam someone's head into the pavement. Jeez. It was a refugee girl.
Oh yeah, but there's another one. Maybe this is it. So DA releases body cam in police shooting that hurt 9-year-old Wichita girl. This happened.
It hurt her. What does that mean?
Yesterday, I don't know. Sedgwick County District Attorney Mark Bennett on Thursday released body camera video that shows a police shooting that wounded a 9-year-old girl that led to a Wichita officer being fired in January. Dexter Betts was at the girl's home in response to a 9/11 call on December 30th when he shot twice at her dog, a 35 to 40 pound English Bull Terrier named Chevy. The girl was sitting behind the dog on the floor in the living room. The 3 other children were also in the room. That's round missed their target.
These fucking people. Like, all you gotta do, if a dog, like, comes at you like that, it's not a trained fucking military dog, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's some house dog. What you do is you just bark at it. I'm not going to do it over this mic, but, like, you know, you give it a short, very sharp, loud command, and that dog will stop. It's 35 pounds. You're a 150, 180 pound cop or whatever.
Yeah, probably more than that.
No reason to start fucking launching bullets off in someone's house because a 35 pound dog, like, is acting aggressive.
So what happened was the bullet fragments ricocheted off the concrete floor under the carpet and hit the 9-year-old's face above her eye, injuring her. Now, let's see.
What happened to that fucking cop?
He got fired. That's it. He's just fired. That's it. Nothing else, it seems like.
Should we charge people like that with criminal negligence? I would probably say yes.
I would say yes, too. The family should be compensated, that's for sure, by the city.
Open up open up that possibility in cases. It's gonna because it's gonna be on a case by case basis.
Yeah.
But it seems to me a lot of these guys get off with no criminal negligence, like nothing like that.
Watch, you'll probably see them become an officer in another state or county, or not another city or town or county.
Yep, that
It's
happens.
Like,
a
oh,
lot.
he's fired. He's gone. And the next thing you know, he's just wearing a different uniform.
My cousin Joe will hook you up in Wabash County. Don't worry.
Yeah.
That's what they send him out the door with.
Yeah. Oh gosh. This world is, you know, maybe I need to start believing maybe this world is hell. And maybe it is hell on earth.
That's what the Gnostics believed.
I know. Damn you Gnostics. Not all you guys. Perseus.
They were right.
Let's see. Oh, it's Desa Besto again. Hey, Desa.
Just damn trolls.
Hey, can you get Aaron? Because I don't mind.
Kick this dude out until he brings Aaron in.
Yeah, look, you need to bring in Aaron.
That was the deal.
We'll shut down the public stream, and we'll enjoy that nice booty dance. Like, Garden, you missed it. Well, you still watch it if you go to DLive for that episode. You can see it's uncensored there. I have to censor it because of YouTube. So you guys have to force me. Ooh, is that Aaron? Damn it, Tony Benoit. Bring back Aaron because we want to see a booty dance for free.
That's the deal, man. We already offered you the deal. Yeah. Like, for every 3 cam girls you bring us, one of you dudes can come on.
So people who are watching and on live chat, sorry if the feed goes down, but we're enjoying a little bit of some for free. Which is
Private
awesome.
Cam show.
I know. That's awesome.
Like you said, we could start selling admission to it.
Exactly. Go to DLive. Oh, it's iPhone. Whose iPhone? But yeah, I would definitely enjoy more of that stuff.
I think it would look cool if we just had like some constant cam girl in one of these windows.
Yeah.
Like while we chatted it up.
You know, eventually I'll probably go to DLive, and DLive, anything happens. We'll just wait for it. I would let them in, but that means I'd have to edit the video, and I don't want to edit the video.
Yeah, sorry trolls, it's really not us. Like, we like crazy shit. YouTube doesn't. I'll be right back.
Oh, no problem. Oh, look at that. That's supposed to offend us.
What's his name?
Swastika, N-word, swastika.
Oh, I'm so offended.
I'm gonna report you to the YouTube police. Zoom police. Oh my goodness, these guys won't quit. It's like the whole show. It's the whole radio. There's an Aaron F as well. You know, if I really wanted to be a bastard, I can make it so it forces people to have their camera on when they first enter, regardless if they don't want it on, so we can see who they are. That's right. It's just like that pizza guy. Remember that pizza guy? And
yeah, man.
He didn't realize he had his camera on. We know what that guy looks like.
Mm-hmm.
I like that they try. You still awake? You're gonna drive? That works. Make sure you have the AC on. It may take him half an hour to fall asleep, but
it's weird. I don't understand what they get out of.
Do you want me to do it? I know. And even drinking black tea, I feel sleepy. Nothing. I'm just feeling sleepy, even with black tea. Probably not a good idea for me to drive. I would do it. He falls asleep pretty good. Just keep it cool because he gets really warm back there. Can you put like a cold compress on his head or something? Sorry, my kid is a little bit sick. All right.
Go take care of your kid, man.
He's just he took medicine, just feeling warm. Here, I'm gonna let's see. I'll just make it so I get rid of the sound where people enter.
Yeah.
Let's see more. Play enter exit chime. Nope. Denied. And I'll just keep removing. So they have to keep entering.
They know the price of admission. I think we've stated it a few times now. 6 cam girls and for every one of those dudes.
And it's easy,
I think
guys.
that was the deal.
Yeah.
I don't understand. I really don't understand what they get out of trying to troll.
I don't know, but what I love doing is wasting their time.
I just don't get it.
It's all right. I enjoy it. This is actually fun for me. Like I would just spend all day doing this if I could. Just because, like, hey, trolls, fuck you. You guys can't do anything. You guys suck. You guys
I like trolling up to a point.
And you guys get triggered. I mean, I don't know how triggered that these guys can be.
You must have said something one night to really offend them.
Oh, I'll say anything to offend them. I mean, these guys think that they have any type of power. They don't. And,
I don't know. It could be BB. She flipped out on me today.
What was that?
BB was flipping out on me today, saying that there's a bunch of idiots on this channel and that I'm some kind of fucking disinformation agent and all this. So I don't know. Maybe it's BB.
Maybe it could be. Who knows?
I don't think it's BB.
I mean, that's the thing with people who are anonymous and don't show themselves, right? It could be anybody, and you can't really trust them no matter how cool that they seem to be.
That's right.
Because
don't forget that.
Yeah.
Like I said, dude, TYT. Pretty soon all you motherfuckers are going to donate to TYT. You're going to fall under the Garden Gnome logic path. And
yeah, they need more money so they could fire people. Because they're running out of people to fire, but they can't fire them unless they make some money. That's okay. I like BB's stuff. She does some good stuff. I disagree with her on some points, but I disagree with a lot of people.
If I donate to TYT, can I get my name on the firing as like it's the Ryan Bannock firing of Anna Kasparian?
Can you name it? Yeah. They try to do that. That is such a cheesy trick, isn't it, dude?
Name the camera. Name the chair. Name the
piece of paper that John's writing on. Name his pen.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It was so lame.
And you know what? They fucked those people too. Like they said that like this chair and this equipment's always going to be here and it's always going to have your name on it. 2 years later, they're like, well, we're selling the names again. Like we've forgotten about these old people.
Yeah. Fucking the sticky taped on names on the back of the chairs are falling off. Whoop, we need a new name. Need some money.
Yeah, and I remember they're like, we're going to show them every day. Like, we're going to do this and that. Like, they immediately forgot about that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Exactly.
Fucking scammers. But when you make promises you can't keep to someone like Jeff Katzenberg, the story ends up a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
Which could very well be the possibility if, in fact, they have money problems. Because according to Jamar, who has an inside source, he says that that's part of it. Is like TYT didn't fulfill their obligations to one or more of these big donors, and therefore, like, you know, they just don't hand you $20 million usually. There's an agreement that you get installments of this.
Mhm.
And, you know, they're dependent on adhering to the terms of the contract.
Yep.
And if you don't adhere to the terms of the contract and you
You're
don't
fucked.
have a fucking team of lawyers like Jeff Katzenberg does, you fucked. You fucked, sir.
Yep. Looks like they're going to have to sell Anna.
They'll never sell Anna. She's unsellable, I guess.
They would have made more money selling off Hannah Kranskin or whatever her name is.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Why fire her when you can, like, just put her out on the street out in front of the studio and let her generate a steady income for the company. Poor Hannah. Like, I guess, and poor Hannah, she's might not get to buy another custom BMW this year, and you know, maybe John isn't going to get to go on that trip to Europe this year.
The hotel orgies are going to have to die down to at least once a week instead of every day.
Yeah, they're for the executive staff only now, not all the peons.
Or John doesn't get in on the fucking orgy, doesn't get his trip to. He's getting screwed hard.
I know. They so that's why they sent him away to the North Pole or whatever. They were tired of him begging to be in these orgies. They didn't want him in there. Go up to the North Pole for a few weeks, John. You come back, all these office tensions, they'll be all smoothed out.
Do you think Jordan Sheridan will get back on and get as relevant as he was before because of all that?
It's damaged him greatly.
Yeah. Oh, he still probably makes more in Patreon than I do, so...
That's not saying much.
Hey!
I make more taking a piss. Like, you get it on your fucking Patreon account.
I could do an hour's worth of work and make more, I guess. Half an hour.
Yeah. I don't know. Actually, you said you had.
He's still got a following. He's just got to rebuild. That's all.
As a reporter, he's a quality reporter.
Mm-hmm.
Quality reporter, and he like covers these stories. He's willing to go talk to people. It's just, you know, his management practices are so in question that it makes you wonder if like you should support any of his projects. Maybe he's learned. Maybe he's learned, you know.
Look at your president. I think Jordan Sheridan's a fucking angel compared to your president. So, you know.
Well, I didn't vote for him either.
Hey, trolls, where'd you guys go? You guys giving up that easily?
They're out hunting for cam girls for us. They want to get the highest quality cam girls.
Come on, keep joining. I'll let you guys in. I promise.
Yeah, I think Jordan deserves to come back up. Will he come back up? He's going to, like, again, there's indications, again, of him not necessarily managing his money well.
Yeah.
Like, you don't need an apartment on the Lower East Side to do that job. That's fucking expensive to live there, dude. It's like $2,000 a month.
Yeah.
For some shitty place. He says he's got a 2-bedroom apartment.
It's just like those sitcoms where they say that they're poor. They're working waitress jobs. Yet they live in a nice flat in like Lower Manhattan or whatever, you know, like Friends and these other people in like the places are huge.
Yeah, that place.
Yeah,
that like, Friends place. How much would that be a month? Like, dude, fucking $8,000.
Yeah, and they're not making that much from like waitress salary.
That's not their. Yeah, that show didn't make any fucking sense. I was always annoyed by Friends. I had this girlfriend in college who would play the shit out of that fucking show. Yeah. Your life is gonna be this way.
It
I got
wasn't.
that song burned into my goddamn mind.
It wasn't that bad. I mean, some of it was funny. But...
Yeah, it
Oh,
was
well.
a sitcom. I just hate it because it was played into my fucking skull.
That was a long-running series too.
I think it was like the most it's either it or Seinfeld. That's the most popular of all time.
Yeah.
Sitcoms.
And didn't like each person from, like, I know Seinfeld, they got up to what, 500,000 per episode?
I think it was more than that,
But
dude.
yeah, Friends I think got up to like 1 million or like 2 million.
Let's put it this way, like, then this is today's money, so you gotta kind of retrograde it, but I was reading that Ralph Macchio, for doing that Cobra Kai series, he was getting paid $200K per episode.
That's
to
not
put
that,
it in perspective.
I mean, that's not that much. I mean, it's
No.
I'll take it.
Those Friends people were making crazy amounts, though. They were making like $1 million plus an episode or something.
I wonder how much it was. Let's see. Friends show.
They went on strike once.
Yeah, I think so.
I remember that.
Yeah, they got Business Insider shows that they made $1 million per episode. God, can you believe, per half-hour episode? Half-hour episode.
Yeah, I mean, like, realistically, that's probably like 30 hours of work at the outside.
Yeah, but look, you know, the reason they got it is because they all negotiated together. They would all get paid the same or leave the show together, and I think that's pretty awesome. At least.
Yeah.
You don't see many people doing that. You pretty much get these hotheads. It's like, hey, they're leaving. Hey, give me their salary.
Yeah. I'll try to force them out. That way I can get more.
Yeah. And then they'll bring in someone who's just like a lookalike and pay them a lot less.
Speaking of sitcoms, though, it looks like they're bringing back the Roseanne series.
Wait, after it got canceled?
Without Roseanne.
What? How is it Roseanne without Roseanne?
A spin-off.
Oh. Well,
She's selling her rights to it, like to AB, like her portion of the property to ABC. They're in the process of doing that.
Negotiations.
Wow.
So Roseanne's going to be dead. Like when it comes to next season, I can't see like how they're really going to. Like, how would the Connor family not be just devastated for like the first 5 or 6 episodes of that season if their mom died like that? So I don't know how they're going to play it off and make it into a comedy, like, you know, at first. We'll see.
Remember that show, Two Guys and whatever? It was Charlie Sheen.
2.5 Men.
2.5 Men, yeah. They replaced him with the Kutcher.
Ashton Kutcher.
Ashton Kutcher? Is that how you say his name? He's
Ashton
from the
Kutcher.
Okay. The guy from the 70s show.
Yep.
Did they do well with him on the show, or did they eventually? Nah. Yeah.
I have no idea.
Lame.
Yeah, most likely though.
That
show's
kid,
not gonna last.
But remember that kid? He became some kind of hardcore Christian, and he stopped doing the show because of it. I remember that.
What? No
He's
more.
like this show's like promoting, like, you know, the wrong values and all of this, and he quit.
Good for him.
And he made this big speech about it, and he pissed off a bunch of executives and stuff. And then I guess later on, like, he went back and begged them, but I don't know if they gave him anything.
Come on, kid.
I know, it's like, come on, man.
At least say, you know, it's promoting the wrong values, and have them say, hey, we really want you back, and get more out of it. It's like, I think the problem with people also these days is negotiation tactics. People just don't know how to negotiate, and I know it sucks, but I mean that's how things were always done in the bank before money. Barter system was based off of negotiation, which sucks also if you think about it, because you always have to start at the high end, then go lower. So I just set that price where, you know.
Well, again, we're running into the issues about wealth consolidation. I mean, back in the day, like you could go to one studio and negotiate, maybe go to another studio or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But
now it's a monopoly.
Now it's monopoly. Who the fuck? They can just tell you to fuck off. We'll get somebody else, and you've got nothing.
Yeah, that is true. Man.
Like the only way to avoid that is by attaching your name to a brand like Hardcore, like Captain Kirk and Star Trek, or like Spock and Star Trek, or something like that. Then they can't lose you. Or like Ralph Macchio and the Karate Kid. Like if you're gonna do, you know, a remake that's based on the original Karate Kid world, you can't do it without Ralph Macchio, really.
Yeah. I
mean,
if
you're gonna continue that story, you know.
Yeah, but you know, it's also a thing in we don't get to see their contracts. I don't know how long he's contracted for, 200,000 per episode. And if it's renegotiated at the end of the season, because I think most of the time they're gonna say, "Hey, we're gonna bring that show. We're probably gonna go 3 seasons, and you're gonna do 200,000 per episode." But the thing is, if it's a hit, you can't renegotiate after the first year. Then you're just out of luck, and the showrunners, the company reaps all the profit. And a lot of the times is the smart ones, they would ask for like a lower per salary and ask for royalties, like a small percentage of whatever that the company makes out of their show or product. And there's a couple examples of that where they would ask for like 1 or 2% of the total, you know, whatever total profits that goes to them, and they made like hundreds of millions more than they would have if they would just taken that salary.
I think some of the Star Wars people got part of the merchandising cash.
Yeah.
So like they ended up ultra rich.
Let's see. Okay, here we go.
I want to say, what's his ass? Like Obi-Wan was one of them. Sir Alec Guinness.
So here's in September 21st, 2012. Wisest business decisions made by actors. Investopedia. Let's see. Jack Nicholson accepted the role of the Joker in 1989 as Batman for $6 million instead of his then average salary of $10 million. Part of the deal was that Nicholson would earn a percentage of the film's total earnings, including merchandise sales. Batman was an overwhelming success, grossing $411 million worldwide, and Nicholson ended up earning more than $50 million for the role. Tom Hanks in Forrest Gump earned over $60 million. Tom Cruise, $75 million for the Mission Impossible 2. 30% of the profits in Vanilla Sky, in addition to $20 million. Holy crap. That's got to be close to like $65 million. It's not bad. Will Smith, 10-20% gross profits for Men in Black 2 and Bad Boys 2, taking over 700 million. So that's up to like 70 to 140 million. Holy crap.
Adam Sandler's always bugged the shit out of me.
Mm-hmm.
I actually like some of his stuff. Some of his stuff is good. You know, he's very hit or miss. And when it's a miss, it's a miss. But when it's a hit, like certain parts of the movie, it's good.
I can't think of a good movie that he was in, to be frank.
I don't know. I'll watch some of those old movies. It's okay.
I mean, I guess some of the movies are okay, but like,
it's just the same thing.
His role in them fucking sucked.
Yeah. But yeah, so look, another. So it's like you gotta negotiate. You know, sometimes they won't give you that salary, but they really want you if they ask for you. So you gotta negotiate. Same
Well,
thing.
usually a contract like that, let's say they say, okay, we'll pay $200,000 for like 20 episodes or whatever over 2 seasons. If season 2 doesn't come around, they still have to pay you.
Yeah.
So like they don't try to like with it. It's not something like Cobra Kai. I would imagine no one really knew how it was going to turn out. Like they probably paid for 1 season, and they've probably had options on a second season.
And I kind of want to see it now because it seems like from what people are saying, it's definitely not like SJW-ish. You know, that the problems these days with a lot of movies is they're trying to push that SJW agenda, and it's totally how it should be done. You know, so I want to see how they do it. And I mean, I think probably the problem with the SJW agenda is you've got the female leads who are perfect. They never get hurt. They don't grow as characters because they don't make mistakes.
Mary Sue's.
And the SJWs hate that term. Mary Sue. Oh my goodness. And there is a male term for it. There's a male version of Mary Sue. It's kind of like something stew. It's like Gary Stew or something like that. And there are Gary Stews out there. Movies.
Well, let's say, like with this, okay, so they're going to do this Roseanne reboot, right? That's an ABC property. And ABC and Disney are one and the same. Like, so I wonder if they're going to, and then you see across these Disney properties, they're trying to push this narrative, right? And you see it in Marvel Comics, you see it in these films that they put out. They bought the Star Wars franchise and tried to inject that message into it, it seems. So I wonder, like, especially given that all the blowback the Roseanne reboot got about being pro-Trump or whatever, I wonder if they're going to take it too far the other way and turned it into a political messaging fest.
Holy crap. Here's something from WikiLeaks that Shirley was mentioning. Leaked ICE Undercover Operations Manual 2008 refers, how they spelled it wrong, to ICE and DHS agents duplicitously marrying their targets as a sensitive undercover technique. Whoever's editing at WikiLeaks, come on, you guys gotta step it up. But
it's a honey trap.
Holy crap!
Honey trap! Holy crap! Holy crap! Honey trap! That's like the ultimate honey trap, though. Like, you go so far as to marry them.
I know. What the fuck?
Could you imagine the prenup?
Yeah, but you wouldn't know.
If you, for some reason, get arrested for something we don't know about, wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Yeah.
You forfeit everything. Oh, look, you're a fucking criminal. We're going to lock you up.
I wonder how the hell that would work. Let's say this agent's husband was busted or whatever. Like, what would happen to that dude's assets? They would go to the agent if he signed them over to her. In his will or, you know, whatever. Like, and then I guess the agent would turn around and hand those over to the whatever agency they worked for.
What about if the person they married suspiciously died?
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, they hung themselves.
Yes.
Oh my god.
They ate too much arsenic in the risotto that I made last night.
Yep, I don't know what happened. I don't know. It looks like the UK is because like there's more evidence pointing that it was the UK who poisoned Skripal, which I found hard to believe. Like initially, I mean, poisoning someone that close to Portland, like that doesn't make any sense. But there's some more evidence coming out about it.
I don't put anything past anyone.
I would have said the U.S. or someone. It's just like what you do is you compromise your chemical weapons site if you have events going on that are close to it, right? And so you'd think that they would not want to do that. But who knows? Maybe they've got some crazy trick up their sleeve. Maybe there's an angle I'm not seeing. There most likely is.
Always. There's so many angles you don't see, Garden.
That's the thing, man. Some people, I know what's going on. I know it's like this. I speak in declarative sentences, but I don't think I know what's going on. I can only guess.
Well, because you don't.
I don't believe anything until I see it on Fox News.
Or if Hillary Clinton talks about it, right?
Yep.
Or TYT. If TYT covers it, we know it's real.
If it's gone on Think Tank and it's gone on Fox News, then it's 100% undeniably correct.
Hey, if it's on Infowars and TYT respectively, then you know it's real.
It's a lock.
It's a lock. It's 100% accurate information.
All the vectors have come together. When I hear I just start going out in the street and screaming the truth.
That's it, man. That's it.
Wolf-pack.com. We gotta end this shit.
Hey, at least Jimmy Dore is now starting to talk about how bullshit about Ro Khanna. About time.
I didn't see that. Did either of you guys see that interview yet?
I get email notifications. I didn't see it either yet, but
so Ryan, what's the highlights?
Just basically asked Ro Khanna what the fuck, and Ro Khanna was like and that was it.
But he's a champion, Ro Khanna. You gotta give him that. He's a champion.
He's got a spine of steel. We've seen the way he stands up to pressure.
Champion of what?
Ro, you're gonna sign this.
He's the Justice Democrats champion.
Yep.
If you see Jenks introducing Ro Khanna to Justice Democrats, and will you be our champion?
Yeah, that was ridiculous, dude.
And Ro Khanna says, "Yes, I'll be your champion."
Give me a fucking break. You've been watching too many fucking You've watched Gladiator too many times, Jim. Living in a fucking fantasy world. That dude's drank his own Kool-Aid. Before, he used to kind of joke around yeah, I'm the best, haha, and it really was kind of a joke.
Yeah.
But I think at some point, that fucker started drinking his own Kool-Aid. And he kind of believes it now. He's had too many people suck his dick for too long.
Yep. I just, it was just all about how, why he made the mistake he made, basically. And why he wouldn't back, or whatever her name is. You know what her name is.
Cortez.
And it was just like, It's just Ro Khanna fucking
appeasement.
Tripping over his own bullshit.
He's an appeaser, man. He appeases people when he's in Washington. He tries to appease the populist crowd. He definitely appeases the people in Silicon Valley. So there's evidence for that in the form of cash.
Mm-hmm.
So he's an appeaser, and his focus is far from laser-like. He kind of offhandedly nominated Crowley, because Crowley had supported him on some minor bill once. He didn't even know the dude. He's just like, okay.
Mm-hmm. There's no excuse for him not knowing that Cortez is in the same party and running against Crowley. There's no excuse. There's some of the basic shit you should know about your own party.
your own party, politics. Heck, that's what you're there for. If you don't know about it, why are you in there?
She's a fucking Justice Democrat too, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that makes it even more absurd. What happened, I think, was the party came to him and said, "Ro, give this dude your endorsement."
Yeah.
And he was like, "Okay," as usual.
I'll be your champion.
Will you be our champion, Ro?
You've got to endorse this guy, Ro. Be our champion. Oh, look, since you pushed and shoved, I'll be your champion. And then it's like 3 weeks later, oh, they pushed me into being their champion to back this guy. So I'm going to back them both.
I won't do it again.
You fucking backflipping. No, I mean, how do you endorse two people? Like, seriously, endorse two people running for the same seat and think that the general public's going to go, yeah, good decision, man. Good decision. Yeah, back them both.
It's the safe path. I always take the safe path.
It'd be, if I ever run as a politician, I'm just always going to take two sides of any issue. So I support free choice and I'm pro-abortion.
That's what a lot of them try to do.
Yeah.
Like, some of them are able to pull it off, some are.
I am an anti-war candidate for war with everyone.
I'm against war, but I've got to sign this defense spending bill. I have to sign for the Iraq war. I have to.
I mean, that is what they do. They just don't do it as blatant as that.
I'm for ending homelessness, but I got to sign this tax cut break for rich people.
Yeah. Bezos needs that extra $3 billion this year. We can't deny him that.
I'm for building a wall, but I'm against.
You fucked it up, dude.
I messed it up. I couldn't do it right. God damn it.
It's more like I'm pro immigration, but we've got to build that wall.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I'm pro immigrants' rights, but we need to build all these detention centers like for kids.
Yeah.
I'm pro Second Amendment, but we need to ban these things. These
and
guns.
you know what I saw today that pissed me off? Like, they've been pushing this one picture around, okay, of this kid in a cage or whatever. And he's got this blue coat on, right? And they've been like, and he was crying, and they're like, this kid was in a cage in one of these detention centers. Well, it turns out the kid wasn't in a cage in a detention center. He was part of a protest. And the parents were there. It was just like people were just protesting, and they had set up this cage to illustrate their point. And a few of them stood inside the cage, and one of them brought their kid in with them. Okay, and that's what it was a picture of. So what that does is now it's given the fucking right fuel to say it's all bullshit. See this kid in the blue coat? He wasn't even imprisoned. It's all bullshit. So the people who went around and fucked around and said, oh, we're going to put this picture up to show these kids are being imprisoned, they fucked up their own cause. They've fueled the other side with their bullshit. Now all the right wingers are like, see, look, this kid wasn't even in the fucking prison.
Yeah, there's a photo, there's an image going around of a child crying, probably about 3 years old, and it's a photoshopped image, and it's got Donald Trump looking down at it.
I saw that one.
Yeah.
It was like a fake cover of a Time magazine or something.
Yeah.
Fake cover of a fake newspaper.
Or was it the actual cover of Time? I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised.
No, it was a fake cover.
Yeah,
Time magazine's better at Photoshop than that.
Didn't Time do like Man of the Year, and they put someone dubious as Person of the Year? You know how they have a Person of the Year edition?
I think
Was it Henry Kissinger?
I think Henry Kissinger was Time Man of the Year.
You gotta
once.
be fucking kidding me.
Like, it was way back, but I think he might have made it.
Times, man. Person.
Donald Trump's been a number of times.
He
I'm
has?
pretty sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
let's see.
He was in 2016 when he was elected.
Here's CBS News Times Person of the Year complete list.
Pretty
For
sure.
the past 25 years. Oh, fuck. Bill Clinton as Man of the Year. Peacemakers. Zach Robin. Okay, that's
Isaac Rabin,
Nasser
Nelson
Arafat.
Mandela, F.W. de
Clerk.
FW.
De Klerk.
Nasser Arafat.
Yeah, de Klerk. He was South African, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Yasser Arafat.
You got
Paul II. Pope John Paul II.
Newt Gingrich.
Newt
Timey, what the
Gingrich.
fuck?
Who's this guy? Is that
Don't know.
Chinese overlord, I don't know.
John Woo? No, he's Andrew.
Groynick.
Again, Bill Clinton twice, really?
Men of the
Oh,
Year.
Kenneth
Kenneth
Starr.
Starr.
Jeff Bezos. And this was back in a long time ago. W.
Rudy.
Giuliani.
Giuliani. Oh man, you guys are horrible.
The whistleblowers.
Huh.
Aren't they supposed to be in prison?
I don't know.
They should be.
Fucking whistleblowers.
Enough of this fucking loose lip sync ships.
American soldier as person of the year.
W
Fuck off.
again.
Yeah, cheesy.
Bill
YouTube, Bill
Gates,
Gates,
Bono, and Melinda
his wife.
Gates.
Good Samaritans.
You're the
You.
person of the year. Fuck you.
Vladimir Putin. Oh, we got some Russian bots or Russian supporters.
Does Time need to now register as a foreign agent?
They probably do.
Yep.
Oh, bro.
Yeah. Obama.
I won the Nobel Peace
Oh,
Prize
yeah.
for doing
Ben
absolutely
Bernanke.
fucking nothing.
Reserve Chairman Ben Bernanke. Really?
Scumbag.
Mark Zuckerberg.
Oh, I like to fuck with people's minds.
I make millions off their own fucking.
Anxieties.
Is this Obama for his second or third time? Second.
Yeah. Second.
He's tough in that one.
Francis.
I took over for a degenerate. That's
Oh,
what Pope Francis is telling us.
Angela Merkel.
Angela Merkel.
Donald
There he
Trump.
is. Person of the year. Donald Trump. Told you.
The silence breakers.
Who the fuck are the silence? Oh, the Me Too movement.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Fucking scum after scum. I feel like I need like a shower after.
I do need a shower.
It's like Time sits there and goes, "Bring in the barrels. We need to scrape the bottom to find someone." It's that time of year.
It's
Bring 'em
you.
in, roll 'em in. Get your scrapers ready. Put on your hazmat suits.
It's
Get
you.
ready.
I mean, that's got to be like the worst time.
Get ready to sell this shit like ice cream.
That's
Put it in
when
a cone.
that's when a whole lot of employment ads go out for Time magazine because everybody quits because they don't want to be associated.
It's too much. How am I going to tell my grandkids about this?
How am I going to say I was at fucking Time magazine when Obama, Clinton, fucking Donald Trump were all persons of the year in fucking.
I'd like to retain the respect to my family and friends.
Yeah.
Work at the fucking bumpkin bumpkin news in the middle of goddamn nowhere. Before
It wasn't me. I was working in the mail room at the time.
Yeah, that's another John Smith.
It wasn't me, you know. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. Mail room. Fucking hell.
They're all like that. It's all just the worst garbage. We don't have a fourth estate. Like, we're the fourth estate. Like, I'm sitting here, like, doing this shit.
That's sad. We've got a basement dweller, someone from bumfuck Michigan.
Yep, way up in the fucking middle of the woods somewhere.
And a fucking Aussie.
Yep.
He's not even New Zealander.
Yep.
Not even close, mate.
Yeah.
This is where you get your news, people. Welcome to the new world. It's you. You're in control of the information age.
It's fine. You are a Time Person of the Year, so you matter.
Yeah, you have been a Times Person of the Year, so you're
Stand
up there
up
with
for that.
You're up there with the
presidents,
with all of those others. You of all people. Well done. Well fucking done.
You better buy a copy of our magazine as a remembrance.
Oh yeah, Kiwis.
Memento.
You got to think how they came up with that. They must have had all these photos up on the wall and a fucking mirror, and they're gone. Nah. Hey, you. Yes, you. Looking back in the mirror, you.
The fucking senior editor gets up from another 6 martini lunch and is like, shit, print time's tomorrow.
And
The phone's been ringing off the goddamn hook.
we haven't announced our Times Person of the Year yet. Is it an election year? Let's have a look. Oh, nah, fuck, it's 2014, so it can't be a president.
Oh, God.
I wonder how much Jeff Bezos paid to be Person of the Year. And Ben Bernanke.
Like, I'd imagine, like, there's a lot of grease into the palms that goes on with that Time Person Magazine of the Year shit.
But do you not notice every time there's an election, the president-elect gets Person of the Year? It's fucking rigged in their favor. Bastards. It's funny how only some whistleblowers get Persons of the Year and others get fucking stuck in a fucking closet and ousted to Russia.
And it's
maybe they're thrown in a fucking prison cell and tortured a bit.
Manning. Like I think it was with Aunt BB where I commented on something to this effect. Is like, look, there's like another whistleblower that used to praise Edward Snowden, but then like Edward Snowden started talking political stuff or something, and then all of a sudden he's calling him a traitor. And this guy is another whistleblower. But I'm like, look, and this guy, so he's an ex-CIA whistleblower, and he's probably still living in the States. He's probably collecting a pension, and he's going on interviews in mainstream media channels. Look, if I had to pick between two whistleblowers, it would probably be the one who's exiled in a different country, even if it's Russia, than the one who's like collecting a pension, and the powers that be don't do anything to them, right?
Exactly. So
yep, it's tough. It's tough to know who to trust. Like, you're just better off not trusting any of them and just looking at the information as it comes. Not really putting an emphasis on the source of the information so much. Like, you always do want to look at the source of information, don't get me wrong, but like, some people will put the source of the information above like their own critical thinking skills. You know, some things just don't add up. Like, there's like there's things that don't add up about WikiLeaks.
What are some examples?
Well, I've mentioned them before, like, being able to operate like that under the weight of like all these crazy, under the weight of the Five Eyes and God knows who else, like, seems impossible to me. Just, there's one point. WikiLeaks has also lately been used, it seemingly, in these internal wars between the intelligence agencies, where like WikiLeaks are accusing specific individuals of things, and people are getting ousted because of it. So, like, did WikiLeaks originally, was it a limited hangout all along? A limited hangout is where they're going to tell you like a lot of things that are true. And then when it's crunch time, or maybe once in a while when they need to, they'll throw a lie in there and they'll try to change the paradigm with that lie.
Angel Tibbs is saying, hey, yo, Garden, you're agreeing with Sane Progressive. Look out.
Yeah, like I agree with Debbie a lot. Like, we just ended up fighting about that fucking Vegas shit. She ended up flipping out on me because of it. But I agree with Debbie on a lot of things. Like, we shouldn't trust these remote sources. Look at the information they provide. Like, if you want to use WikiLeaks the way it should be used, you should probably, if you see something in WikiLeaks, try to find at least 2 or 3 other corroborating sources and just think about it and see if it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like, look how people react to it to a degree. Like, some of that shit that they said about Donna Brazil and CNN, that came out through WikiLeaks, right? If I remember correctly. About Donna Brazil leaking fucking questions, or
yep, that was WikiLeaks.
That whole shit. Like, that was, if you ask me, that looks like it was true, because they ended up firing a bunch of people.
That was, I mean, it's for each leaked, because they do certain types of leaks and they categorize them, like John Podesta's email or the DNC leak, and all these things. So so in your opinion, do you think I mean, because everyone touts it that WikiLeaks has 100% correct, like no one hasn't been able to tout any type of misinformation or things like that.
That point that people always bring up, it's got 100% accuracy. I mean, when you say that, that's a fallacious argument to begin with, because not everything that you get out of WikiLeaks is even going to be verifiable. So if you're a clever disinformation or even information disperser, what you'll do is you will only release things that are either true or cannot be verified. And then when it comes time to do the flip around and spread a bunch of bullshit, like, you'll make sure that the bullshit you spread is unverifiable.
Yeah, I can see that point.
But it'll be targeted information to produce a certain effect. And, you get 3 or 4 of those things going, and the momentum of them all might carry a narrative.
Yeah, but I mean, anyone who doesn't, especially the opposition for it, the opposition, for example, Podesta emails, DNC emails, that stuff, if they really, really wanted to discredit WikiLeaks and everything else, all they need to do is just say, hey, look, here's an email that I have, here's an email that WikiLeaks released, and look at the differences. And you can verify it by the Google authentication key, whatever it is. They would do that, but of course they don't. So, I mean, the assumption is, I mean, even with the government, does the government just use it to an advantage? But I don't see that as the case, because if you really want to discredit WikiLeaks and anything that you do, especially with Julian Assange, you would just discredit it. And I think that's just big ammunition. And it's like, hey, This guy's spreading lies, not just and setting it up as 100% accurate information when that's not the case. They got ammunition for it, and WikiLeaks would be powerless. It's like, hey, we've already discredited it, and here's the proof, here's the actual source, blah blah blah. But then again, they can always make up documents, the government or whoever.
Well, the other thing that's suspicious about it is that we started hearing about WikiLeaks a lot in mass media. Now, usually with things that, that are real oppositional elements, like mass media won't mention them. Like you never hear about ELF, Earth Liberation Front. You'll never hear about those people. Mm-hmm. Like you never hear about Animal Liberation Front. You never hear about some of these more they do various reports on white supremacist groups or whatever, but I guess you do hear about those people. But those people are so heavily infiltrated by the FBI and that's well documented. FBI has its tendrils all throughout the white supremacy movement, and it's possible that there might not be a really coherent white supremacy movement without the FBI constantly supporting their actions.
So on the WikiLeaks thing, like for example, if I was going to do it, I would just leak stuff all over the web. But I'm wondering if you leak to WikiLeaks, because all I did was just click that submit button, is like, do they get back at you and say, like, how can we vet the source that you're providing us, etc., etc.? Like, do they just publish it? Because I feel like if I could publish anything, will they accept it? Will they come back with questions about what I'm leaking? And that's also, I mean, one day I would want to just see, is like, hey, here's a leak, maybe just one little document or something. It's like, can you, like, what happens? Does someone come back to you and say, like, do they even know who you are? I mean, it's going through Tor. So obviously not. It's what's the process towards this, and how do they vet the information, or do they just publish it without any vetting? And then that's where you get to the point where, yeah, you can have probably some misinformation published, because anyone can publish it through WikiLeaks. But
has anyone stepped forward and said, I am the source of like one of these publicly released documents?
They probably don't want to get exiled into Russia.
Has anyone done that yet?
I don't know.
Because you'd have to ask those people like what their experience was like.
Well, maybe they're either exiled or they're dead. So you never know.
Well, and it's possible. I'm not, WikiLeaks could have been. It might not be a limited hangout at all, and it could be 100% legit. I would say that, like, I don't see how that's possible. Okay, but like, let's say that's the case. Like, how do they vet things? Do they have any information on that?
I don't know. Because I think there needs to be other areas. Like, if you're gonna leak, you just need redundancy. Like, if WikiLeaks gets compromised, or WikiLeaks gets whatever, there just needs to be second, third, fourth place that does everything. And they might even categorize it as, this is we don't know who this. It's an unknown person, so take everything at face value. Then, or another one is, we do have inside information as to this person states explicitly who they are. We're not going to reveal it, etc., until the person says it's okay to be revealed, or if that person dies, etc. I mean, there just needs to be more WikiLeaks types out there doing things maybe slightly differently, but in the same concept as, hey, if you need to leak something to the public, you have to have a venue for it. and not just one place, but like a dozen. And then do they all match up in some ways?
It's tough because the internet is enemy ground. It's killing ground, is like Sun Tzu would put it. Like they invented this. Like there's technological capabilities in relation to it, and other are probably decades ahead of where we're at. So I mean, this is what they call killing ground. Like, that's why, like we were talking about Debbie earlier, Debbie's come to the belief that it's pointless to do any of this online. And I can see her rationale.
Well, I in my opinion, I think if anyone's gonna leak, they need to do it publicly in a venue that can't be shut down, and people are able to like, for example, sometimes people come to me privately and say, "Hey, I've got information." And it's like, okay, like, keep that information for later. It's like, just release it publicly. Let people know. If it's big enough, important enough, other commentators will take it and publicize it. Don't give it to me to do it. It's like someone's asking information. Is like, where did you get this information? Well, I got it from someone who said, hey, you should publicize it. It's like,
I have a young son.
Publicize it yourself if it's that important. Or, it's like, don't just tell me. It's like, I don't want to know privately. If you want, you can come on the show and do it. And that's the thing is, that's why I hate working in private. That's why I love doing everything in public. And when anyone could come on and it's like, hey, I've got something important to tell you. Okay, so come on and tell me in public. And then we know who you are, or we don't know who you are. You could just be some guy or girl with a voice synthesizer and just lie. It's like, we're going to vet the information online or at real time live, and see if you're making things up, it's bullshit, or it's unverifiable and whatever. But okay,
well, if you got these juicy documents, man, like, don't even bother submitting them to WikiLeaks. Just start posting them all over the fucking internet.
Yeah.
But
there's more merit to it when you've got that face. It's like, hey, this is important. This is me. I'm the one leaking it. I've got no ulterior motive. No need to hide behind like a veil or whatever. This is like an anonymous leak or something. And there's more merit to it. Like, if I came out and said, hey, I've got something leaked to you guys. It's like, you guys know exactly who I am. You guys see my face. You guys know my whatever. And I'm going to do everything I can to post it in different types of videos. Heck, I'll even write an article on it. Do Steemit,
well, you see, that's the thing. Like, print journalism is really the way to go with a lot of this stuff, because print journalism exists all over the world.
Yeah.
And it exists in different political environments.
Yeah. And then,
so it's not confined to the rules of this political environment when you publish in, let's say, the Jerusalem Times or whatever.
Yeah. And then you could take images of it and you could save the files. You could publicly share the files through different ones like Mega Uploads, or I use WeTransfer. You could do other things. You can have it so it's like a Google spreadsheet, even though that could probably get taken down. But you want to spread it as many places as you can, even the places that you normally wouldn't want to, because they can easily shut it down. But then you can also see the ones that shut it down. Like Facebook, they'll probably shut it down. Google will probably shut it down. Twitter will probably shut it down. But then, who won't shut it down? Look for those places. And then you can see, okay, look, they're shutting it down for a reason, but they can't shut it down these other places. We'll see if they are. But by that time, there's just enough ammunition to go by. Is like, hey, look, these platforms are shutting this information down. Why are they shutting it down? And they, certain places they can't shut down as easily. Like,
well, it's also the David and Goliath syndrome. I mean, we're facing their tower of propaganda. For every time that we say, hey, look at this piece of proof, they will say, this person's a crazy fucking Russian troll 1,000,000 times. Yeah. Like, for every one time we say it. Like, so there's that to contend with. It's just a matter of, people parsing specifics of these cases has almost become a distraction. Even if there's valuable information to be found in parsing the specifics, etc.
Yeah.
People, I think, need to start focusing on the bigger picture things.
And-
Instead of like worrying about, like, let's say, I mean, it's like I said, it's important to know that Donna Brazil was like getting fed those questions.
Mhm.
But at the same time, the real issue here is media complicity with political parties and like with, corporate and military industrial complex agendas. So like we should try to put more of our focus on the latter types of issues and less on the former.
Shirley Vick is saying that there are 2 reporters put in jail in 2005, Judith Miller of New York Times and Matthew Cooper of Time Magazine. They would not release their sources and were locked up. And that's another thing, is when you're putting these reporters or journalists in a position where they don't want to release their sources and they're made to, or they're going to suffer consequences, I mean, you're putting them in a bad spot too. I think people who are going to are leaking stuff, they have to show themselves, do it. I mean, if the government finds out and it was all private anyway, no one knew that you're the one who leaked it and you're dead, no one can know the truth. For example, like Seth Rich is being touted as the person who did the DNC leaks. Like his privacy, doing it through like a private means, not stating to the world publicly that he was the one that did it, probably got him killed. Maybe he would be killed anyway, but at least people would know why he got killed.
Well, right? It would depend on the type. It's situational. It would depend on the type of information being released, and like, because you don't want to just, let's say, like you find some juicy shit, but if you stick with it and keep working within that company, you can keep releasing juicy shit. Yeah. Like, you're not necessarily going to want to release your name, because then the gig's up. Well, you know what I'm saying?
Well, the thing is, there's also many ways to do it strategically. For example, if you're going to leak it to one person and reveal your identity to this one person, send up in an email stating that, hey, if I get killed, this is the person that released the information that I was the one that did this. You can do it time-based. They have those things where it's kind of like a dead man switch, but they have, I think, emails that do it too. So it's like, hey, if I don't get any notification for me that you can go ahead and release this email or anything like that. Or
well, you have a hard copy of it. What you do is you have a relative, right?
Yeah, there you go. You have someone,
and like they go get a safety deposit box, or you have someone you trust.
Mm-hmm.
Usually, it's better to have someone like a step or two removed from you, not a direct relative. But then you have them go get a fucking security deposit box, and you put whatever information's in there, and.
Yep, and if something happens to you, it's just like you see in the movies sometimes. Hey, if anything happens to me, if I get killed, or I suddenly hang myself, or you see I'm like floating in a river somewhere, I want you to publish this everywhere, right? So
yeah, I mean, you got to have a safety backup if it's really crazy stuff. I mean, they'll kill things like the story of Karen Silkwood.
Mm-mm.
Karen Silkwood she worked in a reactor. Right, and there was some contamination from like leaking from the reactor. There were some serious concerns with it, and she got vocal about it. She worked there, and she got vocal about it. She tried to form a workers' union to stop it and all this shit. All of a sudden, like they find like huge amounts of cesium, I think, cesium in her body.
Want me to do it? I think I'm awake enough. Yeah, I guess so.
Anyways, the theory is that the power company dosed her with cesium. There's no other way it really could have gotten into her system. She didn't work around cesium. Like, it just shouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
So they killed her for being a whistleblower is the theory.
Huh? Do you got anything for his rash? I couldn't see it. You hide it. You're a horrible storer. Alright, yeah, and when those weird ways of dying happen, investigations always get closed off, and I think it's also sends a message to people who investigate stuff that to probably they probably shouldn't investigate it, or they'll probably do that to you too. So I mean, I think like as a profession, I wonder if they have something where this is the deadliest profession. It's called reporting or journalism. It's like, really? How is that the most deadliest profession? But it could be true.
I think the most dangerous profession is cane field worker. Don't hold me to that, but I think I read if it's not number one, it's right the fuck up there. You wouldn't think it so much, but like I guess cane field working is super fucking dangerous.
Sugar cane or like
sugar
candy
cane.
canes?
Yeah, they're hard. Rolling up candy canes.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm probably gonna cut it short tonight just because my son needs to fall asleep, or he is.
All right, dude.
Asleep.
Sounds good.
Ryan, are you gonna do a show, or do you two guys want to continue on without me? I think
I don't know if he's there.
Ryan's kind of like going off on some like Hillary Clinton speech. Oh boy. All right. I guess we'll call it a night.
All right, dude. I'll see you later.
All right. See ya. Thanks, everybody. Oh no. Damn it. Stop. Come on.